Okay? You're actually from the tribe of Israel. You're actually an Israelite. And what we're showing is that your history is actually recorded into the Bible. How did your ancestors get to the island? How did they get to the island of Puerto Rico? What was that? A little more, I can't hear you. It's loud out here. How did they get to that island? You have no idea?
They migrated, but
now, Puerto Ricans, you are of mixed ancestry, right? That's what they tell you, right?
yeah, Spaniard, Indian, and African.
So Taino, Indian, and then African, right? That's the. So what we're showing is that the way that those Africans got over to Puerto Rico is actually recorded in the Bible, and then also the way that the Taino Indians got over to Puerto Rico is also recorded into the Bible. Can I show you that real quick? Let me show you real quick. Give me verse 68. I'm gonna show you. Deuteronomy 27:1 real quick.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27 and verse 1. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people.
So Moses, with the elders of Israel, talking about these 12 tribes that's on his sign, right? Ephraim is one of the 12 tribes, right? But they call you Puerto Rican, but really you're from the tribe of Ephraim. So it said Moses, he's speaking to the Israelites, and he commanded the people, right? Read.
Saying, keep the commandments which I command you this day.
He said if we keep the commandments, we be blessed, if we broke them, we be cursed. Now give me verse 68. I'm going to show you how your African ancestors, how they got to the island of Puerto Rico. It's actually recorded in the Bible. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Egypt is a Greek word synonymous for bondage or slavery. So he said, I'm going to bring you into slavery again. How? How are they going to get there?
With ships.
With ships. With slave ships. You know Puerto Rico actually means rich port?
Right.
It's a rich port because they brought a lot of the slaves in and they were working the land, they were getting diamonds and all of those things. Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. I'll answer your question in a second. But what I'm showing you is that the way that those Africans got to that island is recorded in the Bible. It said that they would go into slavery with ships. Those Africans, were they there? Did they go there willingly? No, they didn't go there willingly. They were brought there as slaves. But let's see what happened when they got off those slave ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
So Moses said, the way that I'm telling you this is going to happen, that's the way it's going to happen. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
They wouldn't see their homeland again. And that's true, right? Because they stayed on that island of Puerto Rico. They never went back to their homeland. Now you think the homeland is Africa, but really the homeland is Israel. And we're going to get into that in a few minutes. Read on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Once they got off those ships, they were sold unto what?
Your enemies. For bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you.
It said that they would be sold to their enemies as bondmen. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Hold on one second, sis. Hold on one second. I have to do things decently and in order, right? I'm speaking to the brother, and then I'm gonna ask you a question, but you just gotta hold off for me for a second, all right? So see right here, it says these people, they were on the auction blocks, right? Read that verse again.
And your enemies, you shall be sold unto your enemies.
Who were these people sold to? Were they sold to their friends? What were they sold to? The Spaniards. And what the Bible is calling the Spaniards is their enemies. That's what the Bible calls them, their enemies. When they got off those ships, they were sold to their enemies as slaves. And that's the reason why they were whipped on their backs. That's the reason why they were yoked to bondage put on their back. Now I told you when you came over here that I'm going to show you how the Africans got over there, the so-called Africans got over there, and also how the Tainos. And that both of those are actually recorded in the Bible. Now I'm going to go to first. Give me first. What you got? You got something? Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 17. His glory is like the firstling of the bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorn.
So this is talking about the tribe of Ephraim, right? They're glorious people. They're righteous people. They were righteous people when they were keeping God's commandments. Read.
With them, he shall push the people together.
So God said what he was going to do, because at one time, where's that? Y'all got the map out here? The map out here? It's on the back. It's on the back of this. I want to show you something. This is heavy. This is heavy. Because God is speaking to the Israelites. Now we know that Israel is right over here, right? This is where all the Israelites were at. And God told the Israelites that he would push what?
And he would push the people together to the ends of the earth.
He said that if they didn't keep the commandments, he would push them together to the end of the earth. Meaning, all of the Israelites would no longer be residing in this area. We're going to read what size of the earth they were pushed to. Read.
And the 10,000s of Ephraim.
So this is talking about Ephraim, right? The so-called Puerto Ricans. This is talking about your tribe. Now, we're going to see where your tribe went. Read. Give me 1 Exodus 13 and 40 real quick. I'm going to show you something. This is heavy. This is going to show how the so-called Puerto Ricans got to the island of Puerto Rico. This is actually recorded in the Bible. Read that.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land.
So what happened was there was war going on, right? And the Israelites, because they broke God's commandments, God stopped fighting for them. And because he stopped fighting for them, they got taken captive by the Assyrians. And it said those are the 10 tribes. Because as you can see on this sign right here, right? There's 12 tribes, right? You have Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which make up the house of Judah, and then you have the northern kingdom from Ephraim on down. Your tribe, the so-called Puerto Ricans, were actually the leaders of the rest of the northern kingdom, right? That's right. So what I'm showing you is that they were taken as prisoners into the land. You got that map back? They were taken as prisoners into the land of Assyria, which is somewhere over here. Read.
In the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive.
So he took them into Assyria as slaves. Read.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
They came over to another land, which was Syria. Right. So they left out of Israel, and they went over into Assyria. Read.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
But when they came together, they took counsel among themselves. Meaning, all of the leaders of those 10 tribes, they got together and said, you know what? We got to do something because we're in slavery. They wanted to get out of it. So they took counsel among themselves. Read.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
And they decided to leave those heathen nations. They didn't want to be under the Assyrians anymore. So let's see where they will go after they left from the Assyrians. Read.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
My question is, was anybody living in this area during this time that we're reading this? Who were the first people to inhabit this land? No. Your people, right? Read that part again.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Never mankind dwelt. Nobody was living in this land before the so-called native Indians came over to it. Right. Not just only to North America, but also to the Caribbean islands. That's how the Taino Indians got over there, right? We're reading it right now. He said they would go forth into a further country. Read.
That they might there keep their statutes.
So they came over to this side of the earth so that they can keep their statues, right? One of the statues, you can lift this up. One of the statutes was actually fringes. You see those fringes? We all have them on our garments. This was a commandment that the Most High God gave to the Israelites. They came over to, they were going to this further country where never mankind dwelt, which is actually known as North America, in order to keep God's commandments. Read.
Which they never kept in their own land. And they enter in Euphrates.
You know where the Euphrates is? Yeah, get the map. You know where the Euphrates is? Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna show you. So the Euphrates is over here, right? So they said that they were going to the Euphrates. So they were in Israel. Read.
By the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High they showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over.
So as they were leaving up out of this area, the Most High said he held still the flow. Because on the bottom of the south coast of Africa, there are actually a whole lot of tsunamis. Read that part again.
And held still the flood, till they were passed over.
So he held the ocean calm until they were able to get to the other side of the world. Read.
For though the country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
So it took the so-called Native Americans, it took the so-called Taino Indians, it took the so-called Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, it took all of them a year and a half to get from Israel over to this side of the earth, the Western Hemisphere. And all of this is actually recorded in the Bible. Do you see your nationality on this sign over here? Brother, sister, do y'all see your nationality on this sign? Do you see your nationality on this sign over here? There's a bunch of nations here. Do you see your name? Do you see what you call yourself? If you were to fill out a job application, do you see that on this sign at all? You don't see it? Are you a Puerto Rican? Are you a Cuban? Are you a Dominican? Are you anywhere in South America? What? can't hear you. Come a little closer. It's loud. It's music. Come a little closer, bro. What's your nationality?
Mexican.
You're Mexican. Okay. So according to the Bible, you're actually from the tribe of Issachar. And it's actually recorded in the Bible. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you something. Give me that. You know you watch Genesis, right? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you something. Aren't your peoples hard-working people? Would you consider so-called Mexicans hard-working people? Right? You guys work really, really hard. And the Bible prophesied that the tribe of Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, would be hard-working people. I'm gonna show you this. Genesis 49 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 1. And Jacob called out his sons and said,
So Jacob, he's also known as Israel. He called his 12 sons and said what?
gather yourselves together, that it may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So he said he's going to tell you what's going to happen to you in the last days. Today we are in the last days. And we're going to find out what was he going to say about the tribe of Issachar. How can we identify who Issachar is in the Bible? I'm going to show you. Read.
Issachar is a strong ass.
So when the Bible says that Issachar, the tribe of Issachar, is a strong ass, meaning they are strong, hard-working people.
Right. Issachar is a strong ass, crouching down between two burdens.
Those two burdens represent North America and Mexico, right? Because a lot of times you have to cross the border, right? And you guys work really, really hard. Read.
And he saw that rest was good.
What in Mexico, what is in the afternoon time, what are you guys known for? Right after you work, right? Right after lunchtime, what are you guys known for? After a hard day of work? A siesta? A siesta?
¿Cómo?
You know what a siesta? Siesta?
Fiesta.
Siesta. What's a siesta? Right? In the afternoon, you rest, right? Normally, right? Normally you guys rest after a hard day of work, right? So what did Issachar do? Read.
And he saw that rest was good, and that the land, that it was pleasant.
Because it said they known that the land was pleasant, right? Because Mexico, it has good land. Read on.
And bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute.
It said that your people would become a servant unto tribute. Because your people were actually known as the Aztecs, right? The Aztecs, they were living in Mexico by themselves, but who came over and made them servants to tribute? The Spaniards, correct? Would you agree with that? I'm going to show you something. Because what language were your people speaking before the Spaniards came, before the conquistadors came? What language were they speaking?
Nahuatl.
Huh?
Nahuatl.
You don't know? I can tell you one thing, they weren't speaking Spanish. I want to show you. Give me Deuteronomy 28:49. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49.
Because Moses said this is what was going to happen to the Israelites. Read.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Spain is on the other side of the earth from Mexico, right? And what is the emblem on all of Spain's flags? The eagle.
That's right.
The eagle. I'm going to read it again. Read that.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Did not the Spaniards, the conquistadors, come from the other side of the earth? They did, didn't they? This is what the Bible says. Read.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
And their emblem was the eagle, right? Read.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
It said a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. When the conquistadors got off the ships and they were speaking Spanish, your people didn't understand it.
Right.
Your people did not understand Spanish. And what I'm showing you is that this is actually recorded in the Bible. But it goes on. Read.
A nation of fierce continent, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
It said that they would not regard the person of old nor show favor to the young. Is there a flyer in your hand? Let me show you something about that flyer. Let me show you something about that flyer. Open it up. Come here. Open up the flyer. Open up the flyer. I'm going to show you something. So your people were in the land of Mexico, right? When the conquistadors were hanging them up like this, did they show favor to them? Did they care how old they were? It didn't matter how old they were just killing, just slaughtering them, right? And what this is showing you is that is what this is recorded in the Bible. Read that again.
A nation of fierce continents, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
They didn't care how old you were, right? They were gutting children out of the pregnant woman's bellies. Let me show you something else about so-called Mexicans. Give me Lamentations 5. Because there are current conditions happening right now in America at the border to the Mexicans, right? What's happening at the border right now?
Hey!
Mexicans right now? Anybody know?
Cage, everything. Put them in cage, take away from their family.
They're taking away the children from the family, right? I'm going to show you this recorded in the Bible. Read that, verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
When they take those so-called Mexican children from their parents, aren't they giving it to another people? They're separating, they're giving to another people. This is what God said would happen to the Israelites. Not everybody else, not all the other nations, but to the Israelites. And this is happening right now to your people. What I'm showing you is that you're an Israelite. Read on.
And thine eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long.
At the border in Texas, when they take those so-called Mexican children from their parents, aren't the parents looking with longing? Don't they want their children back? This is recorded in the Bible. I'm showing you that this is actually recorded in the Bible. Read.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
And there's nothing that they can do about it when they take the children away from them. I'm going to show you something else about the Mexicans in the Bible. Lamentation 5. Read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
Let me tell you something. The state of California, not only the state of California, you got Nevada, you want some of Nevada, you got Arizona, right? All of these, in North America, all of these, this landmass, the so-called Mexicans once inhabited that land. All of this was Mexico, right? All of this was Mexico. This land we stand on right now, and in California, and in Arizona, all of that was Mexico. That was actually the land that your ancestors inherited by the Most High God. Read that again.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers.
But today this land is turned to strangers. Your people don't own this land right now. They got kicked out. And that's recorded in the Bible. Read that again.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Or houses to aliens.
They call you the illegal aliens, but really they are the illegal aliens. Because they stole your land. They didn't come here invited. They came here and took the land from you. And what we're showing you is that that history was prophesied in the Bible. Read on, verse 3.
We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
Not only are children being made orphans right now in Texas when they're taking those children away from their parents, but when the conquistadors conquered your people, they slaughtered and killed everybody. They made them orphans. They made them without fathers, without mothers. And what we're showing you is that that's recorded in the Bible. Read.
We have drunk in our water for money.
And today you have to pay for water. Back before the conquistadors came over here, if your people wanted some water, how would they be able to, did they have to pay for it? No, they didn't. They could just go to the riverbanks and just drink it freely. But now you're drinking your water for money. You have to pay for it. Read.
Our wood is sold unto us.
And now you have to pay for your own wood. So what's the point? Are we just out here just talking about the history? We're showing you that not only is your history in the Bible, and we're identifying that you are the Israelites, but knowing that you're an Israelite is not enough.
That's right.
The Most High, give me Deuteronomy 10 and verse 12. Do you understand that you're an Israelite now? All of the things that were just brought out of the Bible, can you relate to those things? Does your spirit agree with those things? Does your spirit agree with those things that were just brought out? Right? The things that's happening? Read that.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 16. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
The Bible bears witness with your spirit, right? All the things that we just brought out, you agree with them. You agree that these things happen to the so-called Mexicans, which are the tribe of Issachar. So now that you understand that, I have a question for you. What does God require of you? Hold on, what does God require of you? Huh? What was that? Hold on one second. One scripture, read this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments.
What God requires you to do is to love him. And the way that you love him is by keeping the commandments of God, right? Not by going to church on Sunday, but by keeping the commandments of God. Because the reason why these things happen to your ancestors, the reason why the so-called Mexicans were made a servant to tribute is because they broke God's laws. They broke God's commandments. So in order for us to get out of these conditions that we're in, we have to keep God's commandments. You understand that? Did you know? Do you know why your ancestors wore fringes on the bottom of all their garments? You see that in Mexico, right? Right? you know that this is actually a dress code that the Most High God gave to the Israelites?
Right.
The fringes on the border. You see that in Mexico, right? That's actually in the Bible. That's where they got it from, because they're the people of the book. You are the people of the book. I'm going to show you. Read that.
The book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
The reason why your ancestors have fringes on the border, and not only that back then, but now they have fringes, is because it's a commandment of the God. That's a commandment from the Most High God. He said, do what?
And make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations.
They were commanded to put fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generation. As long as they were generating as a people, they're supposed to have fringes on, right? Read.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
But today, you, brother, hey brother, today, the so-called Mexicans aren't wearing the fringes because they're breaking God's commandments. They don't know who they are. They have no idea who they are. But what we're showing you is that you are actually the people of the book. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the people of the book. You are the Israelites. Read on.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
So the purpose of the fringes is so that you can look upon it and remember to keep the commandments of the Lord. Because remember, the reason why these atrocious things have happened to your people is because they broke the commandments of the Lord.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.